Hey everybody, welcome. Audio check. You guys can hear me good? Make sure we're on Facebook and YouTube, all right? Give it a little bit to warm up for people to join. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate you guys. Make sure we're good here. I have 3 stories for you guys tonight. Right now you're watching a balloon release for Marquita. We're going to get into that whole story, which there's not that many details. All 3 stories out of Texas. Make sure, let's see. Sure, we're good on audio. Share the stream. Need to share the stream. All right. Thank you. Cairo, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing good. Wow, Annalise. Hey, holy crap. You're alive. Sarah, Crystal, know the truth. Thank you for coming by. First time catching you live. Well, it's a good time. I'm a mess. I'm a complete mess. I think I took on too many stories at once. We're live on Facebook. Okay. All right. Let me share it out too real quick. We'll get started. So, share the video. Share the video. All right. Let me show my face on here. How you guys doing? This is the balloon release for, you guys might have not heard of this story. There's not much attention on this story. Sarah, hey, how you doing? Sarah, Brunch Mom, Rhonda, Miss Bossy, what's up? Thank you for coming. This one doesn't have that many videos either, but we're going to be talking about the first story is going to be about Marquita and Ashton Neroes. This guy.
Oh, man.
So we're 2 minutes in. Okay. This guy shot and killed his mother and their kids. I guess I don't know if they were married. I think they were married. His wife. They were all living together. Shot her 10 times, allegedly in front of the kids. This happened October 18th. And let me show you some pictures of the family. I'm going to show you some pictures of the family. Candy, what's up? Flower Child. Yona.
Hey, Roro.
The theme for this live stream is going to be kind of like domestic violence and with the whole global pandemic situation that's going on, they say supposedly it's getting worse. People are kind of stuck with each other in these confines. People maybe can't send their kids to school. And so everybody's like stuck and packed together. Not that it's any kind of excuse, but now people are like forced into these situations. And I found this video today, which was kind of interesting. And this gave me the idea to cover these other multiple stories. This video also includes Ashton, which is what they call him. I'm not sure exactly what the name is, but we have Jamari from October 6th. We have Cory Washington. We're going to get into those stories. And then we have Ashton here. And so let me play this video for you guys.
Crime scene tape in Irving marks off what could be another case of domestic violence homicide.
We know this is a really hard time.
Gotcha.
And we know that domestic violence is exacerbated when things are stressful.
The month of October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, has been marked with domestic violence killings. On October 6th, Jarmarl Hollman was arrested in Fort Worth in the killing of his estranged girlfriend and then setting the house on fire. On October 16th, Cory Washington was arrested in the shooting death of his girlfriend. Her body was found in the front yard. On October 19th, Garland police say they arrested Ashton Neroes for shooting his wife in front of their 3 children. Keisha Williams Langford owns clinics where victims and abusers get counseling.
Women getting killed left and right. And kids too. You've been following all the stories. Left and right, like nothing. Shot, burned, everything.
When you're seeing children being killed, parents being killed in front of their children, it's bad enough that they're going to lose the parent for life, but they're actually traumatized.
Thanks, Dreamers. Appreciate that.
During COVID-19, domestic violence has surged across the nation. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline,
Rachel,
from March through May, they saw a 9% increase in calls, and more than 6,200 victims cited COVID-19 as the reason for the abuse. Victims advocates say abusers are using COVID as a reason to isolate victims and beg them to seek counseling and help.
Because we really need to get in front of it as opposed to having some tragedy like we just had. And then say, why didn't we do something? What could have been done?
Counselors say there are always warning signs and red flags that progress into violence.
Each time it gets worse, intensifies each time. The cycle perpetuates itself.
Shelters say they are overwhelmed with the number of victims needing a place to stay, but will find a place for you if you feel your life is in danger. The family place had 10 victims in hotel rooms Monday night.
Hey, Crystal.
They say don't suffer in silence, seek help, and stay alive. In Arlington, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
We know some of you watching right now are in a dangerous situation. We need you to know that you are not alone, no matter how much you feel you might be. There is help. Just call the National Domestic Hotline at 1-800-799-7233.
I'll be opening up the phone lines towards the end too. If anybody wants to call in and give their thoughts or their own personal experience. So the first story we're going to be talking about is Marquita and Ashton. They had 3 kids. Oh, let me show you some of the pictures. I mean, they were pretty supposedly well known on social media. I mean, they took pictures all the time, matching pictures, and I think that's The Incredibles. You know, you would have never thought, and that's the other thing too, that social media, you can't really judge by social media. I mean, but a pretty nice looking family. Oh God, computer's freezing. There we go. So, and this is supposedly one of the last posts that he made. I don't know if this was before or after. We're going to look into the article because the article states, but he posted, he goes under Jeffy Neroes on Facebook. He said, never got closure, but I'll always walk away a winner regardless. And so a little bit about Marquita, from what I could find, there's very little information again about this story. You couldn't even really barely find news articles. The mother of 3 identified as Marquita was allegedly shot. Let me see what we got on the screen here real quick. Okay, yeah, we're good. Allegedly shot 10 times by her husband on reasons that she optioned for a divorce. So some of the rumors are that allegedly the guy was cheating, Ashton, and she wanted to leave and she wanted a divorce. Those are the rumors. Supposedly he was caught cheating, and that's why she asked for a divorce. Markeita McCleary, she was a CEO and founder of Everything That Glitters, hair and eyelash extension distributor. According to the police department, Marquita, after she was shot dead. Okay, she was transported to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. This happened October 18th, 5:34 p.m. Mesquite Police Department was notified of a shooting. And that's that. Also, somebody here posted Misha. I thought it was worth mentioning to give a little bit of details about the person that's deceased. Oh, Spivvy, thank you for the donation. Hey, Sin, welcome. Always supporting. Thank you for the content. Thank you for joining, Spivvy. I appreciate it. And this is oh, Crystal, thank you for the donation too. I missed that. This person, I think they reposted London Sherrill. Not sure who that is, but it says here Marquita was more than a story on the news. She was a mother of 3 beautiful children. She was a nursing student with just 5 months left before graduation. She might was small, but she had a big heart, big smile, and big spirit. Marquita did hair, nails, makeup, lashes, made shirts, branded her hair, made jewelry on top of that, on top of parenting, kids school, nursing school, and being the biggest supporter of her son in football, which I did see post on Facebook and that stuff about her kids a lot. Looked like it. And her daughter cheerleading. She is what's called a super mom. She is more than a tragedy that you're all reading. Assumptions people are making. She was a human being with a heart bigger than her body. Let's see. I'm praying for strength. And that's kind of the end of that. So this article here, popular superstar. What page are we on? Let me take it back to the first page. Let's see what the chat is saying. And by the way, some of the other stories are crazy too, because this other guy, I think it was Cory. Oops. Let's see. We don't want to do that. Oh, Lord, Jesus save me here. Here we go. This other guy, was it Cory? And it wasn't Cory. This other guy, Jarmarl, was like involved in some prostitution sting, long criminal history. He killed some woman and burned her, but we're going to get into that in a second. But it says here, a Texas man was arrested for killing his wife in front of his 3 little children. I mean, that's just crazy. I can't even imagine somebody walking in, full rage to shoot this woman allegedly in front of the kids. Ashton Neroes was quite popular on social media and appeared to everyone as a perfect dad, but he shocked his followers. Ashton Neroes, father of 3, is pretty famous on social media and often shared photos of his perfect family, in quotes. In many pictures, Neroes, his wife Ashton Neroes, and the 3 children wore matching outfits, which we saw. Neroes, 28, shot and killed his wife over the weekend. According to authorities, the shooting took place Sunday evening, that was October 18th. Let's see, yeah, October 18th. And Neroes was arrested and charged in connection with the murder. He's being held on a $100,000 bond. So reportedly here, as we were mentioning earlier, reports say that Neroes and his wife started having trouble recently, and Marquita asked him for a divorce. Many believe Neroes shot his wife because she wanted a divorce. Right before killing his wife, he posted on social media, like we were talking about, "Never got closure, but I'll walk away a winner regardless." It's kind of crazy. He posted a lot of biblical stuff and a lot of these inspirational quotes from what I saw online. Yeah. Crystal said, "Did you see my comment? Ashton was quoting Bible verses and preaching to people on his Facebook." Yeah. All in the name of Jesus, right? People will pray for you and kill you right after. According to the gossip on this, which is not even an article I really heard of before, an unconfirmed social media report, Marquita had recently caught Ashton having an affair and asked him for a divorce shortly before she was fatally shot 10 times in front of the 3 children. In addition to sharing photos of their family, Ashton frequently posted inspirational messages and Christian scripture. One in particular, just hours before the shooting, October 18th, 1:28 p.m. Let me drink some water. What's up, man? Welcome, everybody. Kara, Kinetic, Spivvy, Sin, Antoinette. So he said here, the problem with humanity is that everybody wants to be an animal, the GOAT. I understand it being an acronym of the greatest of all times, but ask yourself this question: is humanity, I guess he meant to put humanity, I don't know what humanity really great in the eyes of God? is God pleased with the disobedience of his commandments? Open that Bible, follow Christ, the real goat who laid down his life for ours. All right. All in the name of Jesus. And we just talked about that post. And that's kind of all I got for that one. Before we go on to the next one, it would be nice to maybe hear from family. Maybe I'm sure the family's probably grieving and stuff, and the guy's locked up in jail. I mean, I just kind of wonder about was there a history of domestic violence? How did this guy get to the point of shooting her 10 times? They have 3 kids. I don't know how old the kids are. I was wondering about how old the kids were. And I just kind of wonder about these rumors, if it's true. And this was, there's somewhere in Texas named, let me see, Garland, Texas. I guess this was in Garland, Texas. Texas. On the 1700 block of Oates Drive in Mesquite. So the next story, I've actually covered a story similar to this before, and I might even play it at the end of the stream, where a guy burned his house down and his family and kids inside. This is different, but the story I'm talking about, we'll get to that at the end, but it's just kind of fascinating to me sometimes because the same people will show up after and start crying, and all the people will come and support them. Oh, I feel so sorry for you. And he's doing interviews, not this guy, but the other story. Maybe I'll at the end of the stream, I'll get into that. But this next one is a guy named Jarmarl Hollman. Another Texas story in Fort Worth. I don't know if anybody's heard of this one. And he was arrested and taken into custody. He's 35. The woman that was killed is Jasmine Page, 24. Oh, I think I have a picture too. Let's see if I can show you guys a picture real quick before I play the video. Do I have pictures? Oh, no, that's the other family. I just have a picture of him. This is the guy that has a history, like a prostitution sting that he got caught up in. Him and multiple other men got caught up in a sting. And he shoots and kills the woman. They believe she was dead for several days. And then he burns the place to try to, I guess, cover it up. When did this happen? The other day here. I think this was the beginning of the month. I'll play the video.
Deadly. At 11, investigators are on the scene of a deadly house fire in Fort Worth.
Marshall, thanks. Appreciate that.
Firefighters got the call just after 7 this morning. This is at a house in the 3800 block of Halloran Street near Bryan Irvin and Camp Bowie in southwest Fort Worth. We are working to learn more about the situation, but right now the fire department is only confirming that one person has died in the fire.
Oh, that's it? Jesus. A little more detail so I don't have to talk the entire time. So this happened. This was on September 28th. The evidence found that Hollman started a fire near the home of 3800 block on Halloran Street. Firefighters found the body after containing the blaze within 10 minutes. She had severe burns, but Fort Worth fire investigators made observations at the scene that they found suspicious. And so they contacted Fort Worth Homicide. Yep. And in an autopsy by the medical examiner's office revealed that Page was shot, causing her death. Detectives believe that due to decomposition, she was murdered several days before the fire ever started. And okay, here we go. I had this planned out too. Yes, this will give you all the details. Yes.
Woman shot to death, left in Fort Worth home for several days before fire, police say. A Fort Worth man with a long criminal history was in jail Tuesday and accused in the murder of a 24-year-old woman whose body was found September 28th in his burning house, according to Fort Worth police and prison records. Fort Worth detectives have not released a motive in the shooting death of Jasmine Rochelle Page, who reportedly had just moved to Fort Worth from Minnesota. Page's body was found by Fort Worth firefighters on the morning of September 28th at a home in the 3800 block of Halloran Street in the Como neighborhood. Through the investigation by Fort Worth homicide detectives, Jarmarl Hollman, 35, of Fort Worth, was taken into custody without incident on October 1st. Hollman remained in the Tarrant County Jail on Tuesday with $150,000 bond on a murder charge. He also was being held on a parole violation. Fort Worth police said Page and Hollman had been dating off and on. The fire was reported just after 7 a.m. on September 28 at the home in West Fort Worth. The victim was the only one in the residence when firefighters responded, Fort Worth Fire Department officials said. Page, severe burns on her body, was pronounced dead at the scene, authorities said. Firefighters had the fire under control in less than 10 minutes. The blaze damaged mostly contents in the single-story home, a fire department official said. Fort Worth fire investigators described the scene as suspicious and contacted homicide detectives. Hollman, who resided at the home, was interviewed. Detectives later learned that Page had died from a gunshot wound, and she had been dead for several days before the fire was started, police said in a news release Tuesday. Authorities also found evidence to believe that Hollman had started the fire, but Fort Worth police did not provide details. CIS-TV reported that the owner of the house said he just started renting to a woman about a month ago and that she was from Minnesota and worked at a pharmacy in North Fort Worth. Hollman, who was arrested in a McLennan County Sheriff's Office prostitution sting in 2017, was sentenced to 4 years in prison on several charges, according to a Waco Tribune-Herald report. Hollman was later paroled in 2019. He was sent to prison 2 other times in 2010 and 2012, according to Texas Department of Criminal Justice records. In the McLennan County cases, Hollman pleaded guilty to prostitution, possession.
So a list, oh damn, did they stop it? Oh no, there it is. A history, long ass criminal history, and he was let out. There was a whole prostitution sting. These are some of the men that were arrested that day. This was let's see, where his pictures at? The Hall of Shame. There he is. That's his picture. And I pulled up this article too from 2017 where it says that these 42 men were arrested and a sting of 2017. That's a whole nother topic too. It's kind of debatable whether, because in other countries, this is not even a crime. Marsha, thank you for the donation. Said thanks for all the hard work. Quiet but always here subscriber. Thank you. Appreciate that. Dre Latina, appreciate your content and advocacy for victims who cannot speak for themselves. I appreciate that. And I appreciate your I still haven't, I'm not going to take too much time, but thank you for the stuff in the car so I can hold up the camera and the camera and the phone so I don't have to drive holding this stuff in my hand. Let me play here.
Of cocaine and methamphetamine, and unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon, and was sentenced in a plea agreement with prosecutors. Initially, Hollman was indicted on a third-degree felony charge of aggravated promotion of prostitution, but that was reduced to a charged Class A misdemeanor prostitution charge as part of the plea bargain. McLennan County Court records show a sheriff's office investigator posing as a sex customer responded to an adult advertisement and discovered Hollman and a woman at a Belmead hotel in February 2017, according to the Waco Tribune-Herald report. Hollman was first sent to prison in June 2010 on probation modification out of East Texas for possession of a controlled substance, according to TDCJ records. He was released to probation officials on December 28, 2010. He next arrived in at a TDCJ prison on May 2, 2012 for possession of a controlled substance and assault on a family household member in Tarrant County.
Jesus.
He was sentenced to 4 years on the drug charge and 2 years on the assault. Hollman was released to mandatory supervision on November 6, 2012. He returned to TDCJ in violation of mandatory supervision from Tarrant County without new charges on December 3, 2014. He was discharged upon completion of his sentences on January 2, 2015. Hollman came back to TDCJ in 2019 for possession of a controlled substance, methamphetamine, and evading arrest in Tarrant County. He was sentenced to 4 years on both charges in Tarrant County. At the same time, he was sentenced for the McLennan County charges.
Sounds like a great guy. Definitely think twice with some of these people that you're getting involved with, right? Jesus Christ. You literally have to start doing like a background check on some of these people that you start talking to, right? At least a Google search in the very least. At least. One of the other stories, damn, moving kind of fast too. One of the other stories that I wanted to talk about is Cory Washington, and this guy killed his girlfriend and one of her sons, but they had 3 kids together. So April Robinson, she was 36. Donovan Fielder, he's 18 years old. Another story out of Texas. April and Donovan had moved. They moved in together. They moved to Texas from Lexington about 9 years ago. And he actually called the police himself to surrender. That's true too. That's true too, Kara. But I'll be Google searching anybody that I start talking to like that anyway. But you're right about that.
2 native Lexingtonians are mourning their loss after both were shot and killed in Texas 2 days ago.
LAX 18's Michael Burke joins us now with more on what happened as well as what family members want next. It's our LAX 18 big story at noon.
April Robinson and her son Donovan of Lexington moved to Texas not long ago in search of a fresh start. But 2 nights ago, they were killed in their home. And police say her boyfriend confessed to the shootings. Their friends and family members say the relationship was abusive and that April Robinson suffered in silence. On Wednesday at around 3 a.m., the alleged abuse turned deadly as this man, 39-year-old Cory Washington, allegedly shot and killed Robinson and her 17-year-old son Donovan. Washington, who is said to have surrendered to police without incident, remains jailed. His bail was set at $1 million. Now family members are speaking out about the couple's abusive relationship and their desire to get the bodies of April and Donovan back to Kentucky.
Everything was good, like their life was good, job-wise, living-wise, everything was good and everything fell into place. And then I'd say about maybe a year ago, well, it's always been abusive. He's always been the abusive type. Yeah. It might not have been physical or verbal, but it always fell into those categories.
April's family members have set up a GoFundMe page so that they can transport the bodies of April and Donovan back to Lexington for a proper burial. They have about $4,000 raised thus far, and their goal is $10,000. In Lexington, Michael Burke, LEX 18 News.
Oh, so this guy, well, according to the sister, yeah, everything was good job-wise, and it fell into place until about a year ago. But he's always been abusive, according to the sister, whether it was physical or verbal. They had 3 daughters together who are now in protective custody. So now these kids are in the system. I mean, it's just crazy to me. I mean, I still think about that first story with this Ashton guy. How the hell do you go in there and shoot? I mean, 10 times too? That's like rage. That's got to be like rage with the first story. He was angered. But it says here, a cousin of April tells LXC that Washington's mother is attempting to fight Robinson's side of the family over custody of the girls. So now the family's trying to fight for custody. The family's attempting to bring April and Donovan's bodies back to Lexington. They have a GoFundMe page. This one has a little bit more detail. Oh, yeah, that's why I pulled up this article. This one has a little bit more details. A little bit more about what happened. If anybody wants to call in, you can call in. I really just wanted to kind of get these little stories out, which are already kind of towards the end. I was like, damn, 30 minutes. We're already at the end of this shit. But so the body of 36-year-old April was found in a neighbor's front yard, and the body of her son, 18-year-old Donovan, was in a bedroom in the home of Robinson and Washington, the home that they shared together. Both victims were shot in the face. That's another thing, too. I think when you shoot somebody in the face, like, it's very, very personal. Right? Like, it's just very, like, want to remove that person, completely wipe them off. And then it's like also, like, you're messing up, I don't know, the family's funeral or closure or whatever. Like, you're shooting somebody straight in the face. That's some straight hatred. A police spokesman confirmed that the other children were in the home at the time. So this guy goes in there, shoots. I guess he didn't kill his own kids. He shot the woman, and he shot the I guess the son was maybe with somebody else, I'm assuming. So he shot April and he shot Donovan while the other kids were home, just like this other guy from the beginning. Kind of the same deal, huh? I don't know if it was in front, but all the kids were home. Wow. In the arrest affidavit, police wrote that Washington told detectives that Robinson had gone to Dallas on Tuesday, and when she returned, he accused her of having another boyfriend. Jealousy. That's incredible, huh? Can't deal with those kind of people. Jealous all the time. You can't do anything. Hey, what's up, man? Vinny, how you doing? Welcome, bro. I actually plan to make smaller videos too for some of this stuff. I mean, the algorithm doesn't like the nature of this content either. He accused her of having another boyfriend. Washington reportedly told authorities that he grabbed a handgun from his safe and then he picked up a bat and he hit Robinson with it. Gets a handgun, gets a bat, and then beats her with the bat. Right? He opened the door to Fielder's room. Fielder shut the door, but Washington busted through the door and hit the 18-year-old with the bat. Not only that, after he hits him with the bat, then he shoots him several times. Right? Incredible. Washington then went outside where Robinson was screaming and hit her with the bat hard enough to knock her down. Then he stood over her and shot her. Incredible. Washington told detectives that he went back inside and told his mother he was going to kill himself, but she talked him out of it. Nah, baby, it's okay. Yeah, it's all right, baby. Don't do it, baby. Don't kill yourself. So the mother was living there too when all this was going on. He then wrote a note confessing to the shootings, police said, and officers reported finding that note. Krabby said, when I was a 911 operator, we had domestic violence calls daily. I only witnessed one woman get a divorce and actually leave. Yeah, I think a lot of people just stay and they keep going in that circular, never-ending cycle. I think that's the most dangerous time too, right? When somebody goes to leave. That's the most dangerous time for somebody that's like in a domestic abuse relationship. They don't want you to leave. They want to keep you there. So he's being held in Denton County Jail on capital murder. He's also being held on family violence, assault charge related to a February incident. So there was a whole nother incident, a February incident. And his total bail is a little more than $1 million. Aubrey police chief said that this case is a tragic incident for surviving family, and our team is working to ensure the available evidence speaks for the victims. On October 7th, Washington pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor assault charge and guilty to a charge of attempted evading arrest, both related to a December 2018 incident. He was sentenced to deferred adjudication, probation on court records. Yada, yada, yada. The reason I pulled up this article too, because it's almost the same, but like with all these different articles, you find little tidbits of information. And so this one just stated supposedly that he was angry with his, it said here, he had been angry with Robinson and his mother for a day or two. anger at these women. So yeah, the same thing. Took a handgun from the safe, got the baseball bat. And over here they give a little bit more detail because they say that when he walked into Fielder's room, he broke down the bedroom door and shot him 2 or 3 times. He also shot Robin once or twice, then striking her with a bat again. Jesus Christ, man. Got to be more to life than that. So, that's all I have. Because there's not much information on any of these stories. I was going to pull up some documentaries, but I couldn't find a good one as far as domestic violence to end off on. Oh, there was that one story, too, that I could have shown you guys before we get out, too. I feel like this live streams have been so shorter. I got to plan something a little bit more substantive. How do you say it? Substantive? However they say it. Substantive. I think I'm going to show the video. Let's see something. There's another story too. Yeah. Here it is. This is 2020. When did this story happen? Oh, this was the beginning of 2020. I want to play you 2 of these videos that are a little bit on the shorter side. Another guy burned down the house and did all this show and put on this whole act. Thank you, Marissa. I appreciate the donation. Oh, I'm missing out on the chat. I'm sorry. Latina says Lady Issa shares she's a survivor and has given great advice on chat. Oh, I missed it out. I missed out on that. Do you want to call in, Lady Issa? Maybe just give, if you're not comfortable with your personal experience, you could just maybe give advice on it. Thanks for the donation, Marissa.
I was one of the first ones to see the fight.
Oh, I forgot the name of these. Oh, the name of the family. So it was Wanda Scales, 35, and her children, Xavier, 15, Robert, 14, Elijah, 10, passed away February 5th.
And my grandson tried to go. We kept banging and banging on the doors and stuff, and no, we couldn't hear anybody. And then my grandson kicked in the door.
She runs outside, I run outside, and then we see the whole back half engulfed in flames. I bang on the windows, hear no answer. I kick in the front door and get halfway up the stairs, but the smoke and stuff was too much, and everybody was screaming for me to get out, and fire department came shortly after. And
after that, we didn't see the kids. We didn't hear anything or anything. So
as a father myself, I can't imagine losing my 2 children, other alone. He lost his house, his family, everything. So
I'm gonna miss him, man. I'm gonna miss him.
That right there, that was the father too. That was the guy that burned the house down and killed the kids. I'm gonna miss him.
So
I'm gonna miss him, man. I'm gonna miss him.
Isn't that incredible? I'm telling you, I'm gonna make a montage of all these sick ass people. Took place. Hey, Ticket Mill, and we're going to talk about this tragic situation that took place in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where a mother and her 3 sons burned inside of a home. We're also going to talk about some fire safety, and the mother's name is Juanita. You have Xavier. I'm telling you, these people will kill you and read you a Bible scripture. All right, seriously, yo. For the ladies out there, and even men go through it too. Robert and Elijah. The ages were 35, 15, 14, and 10.
35-year-old Juanita Scales and her sons, 15-year-old Xavier Waldib, 14-year-old Robert Scales Jr., and 10-year-old Elijah Scales.
Now, it's reported that the fire started around 12:20, 12:30 a.m., and it was a 2-story home, and it started in the lower level with the family inside.
My neighbor actually called me and told me they seen the smoke, and I came running.
It's reported that the firefighters carried the victims outside of the house to revive them. They were not breathing, had no pulses. The mother died at the scene, and her 3 sons were transported to local hospitals where they were pronounced dead upon arrival.
Firefighters pulled the victims from the burning home, but none could be saved.
Robert Scales and Elijah Scales died later Wednesday morning. Robert Scales confirmed that his wife and his 3 children died in the fire. He was at work at the time when the fire broke out.
Says he was at work when he got word that his house was on fire.
FYI, there's 2 Roberts. So there's Senior, which is the father, and there's Junior, which was the child that passed away.
I went speeding and seen a fire truck speeding and an ambulance speeding.
Now, it's reported that fire officials said that when they arrived, it appeared to be no working smoke detectors.
They have said that they found no working smoke detectors here in the home.
Officials believe the family's lives would have not been lost. Also, there was 2 dogs that died in the fire.
It's a lot of questions, I have, and it may take time for the answers to come out.
Yeah, bullshit.
But I know God got something else for me. So
yeah, God. That's what they always do. Defer to God and the scriptures and all that. And the bodies are out in the backyard. So Grand Rapids actually has this 311 program where they provide free fire detectors.
We have a 311.
So that in that video, I kind of turned it and made it a little bit educational, but we can skip past that part. And this was like the update to that story. Because it's just to me. What is up, particular? And I have an update to me. It's just kind of insane that this woman and the 3 kids, like this guy killed 4 people, and he's just out there after, like, oh yeah, oh God, and he got a lot of support too and sympathy. I don't know if that's like a high for these people. Like you kill you and wipe out your family, and then it's like you have this whole support group behind you and all that. This crazy story somebody posted last night in the live stream. Damn, it was looking rough with some of the outcome of this. Now I want to do a recap for the people that missed this story, and I think it's just wrong on so many levels, even besides the obvious. Now let me show you a clip of the father, and then I'm going to take you back and give you kind of the synopsis of the story, and then we're going to get to the updates. Crazy, insane, insanity, but in this day and age, it's almost like the normal now. It's the norm.
I'm gonna mess some that. I'm gonna mess something. It's a lot of questions, I have, and it may take time for the answers to come out.
It's a good question, Crystal. Crystal said, how do they catch him? God got something else for me. Isn't that crazy? I mean, just put it like, just imagine, right? Like your entire family. I mean, I probably don't want to imagine, but just try to like contextualize it. Just your entire family is wiped out one night. Kids, all dead.
Early Wednesday, fire crews responded to a house fire already engulfing the home of Robert and Juanita Scales.
Got to the 2nd floor where they found 4 victims.
Then we saw the dad pull up, and he was trying to tell the firefighters that, somebody was upstairs, or I guess his family was upstairs.
Now on balloons at the home are the names of a mother and her 3 kids, all of them lost in the fire.
The mother's name was Juanita. You have Xavier, Robert, and Elijah. The ages were 35, 15, 14, and 10.
35-year-old Juanita Scales and her sons, 15-year-old Xavier Waldeep.
So, and this video actually ties into the whole subject matter of tonight's like stream or whatever. Leave it to Bieber. Thank you for the donation. By the way, you guys can check out her channel. She has a good channel, pumping out content new to YouTube. This whole, and I think you're going to see it in this now. This is a whole nother domestic violence story and situation. Dude was nuts. Dude's a nut job. You know what I'm saying? And I understand having problems and all that kind of stuff or mental, but once you involve kids and you're wiping out the family and you're murdering and killing people in front of the kids, like, shit has to stop.
10-year-old Robert Scales Jr. and 10-year-old Elijah Scales.
Now, it's reported that the fire started around 12:30 a.m. and it was a 2-story home, and it started in the lower level with the family inside.
My neighbor actually called me and told me they seen the smoke, and I came running.
It's reported that the firefighters carried the victims outside of the house to revive them. They were not breathing, had no pulses. Amanda, that's a really good question too. I think I covered that in the first video as far as the educational aspect of it, which I didn't know either. When there's like carbon monoxide or something going on and there's like a fire going on in the house, I think that, I don't know what it is. You can't smell the fire. You're already knocked out, I think, before the fire even burns you. I think that's how it works. Apparently, if you're sleeping, the more you inhale, the more you fall asleep deeper. I don't know if it's the carbon monoxide or the smoke. I know that you inhale that stuff, you get knocked out and you can't feel nothing. The mother died or smell anything. I don't know what it is. Transported to local hospitals where they're pronounced dead upon arrival.
Firefighters pulled the victims from the burning home, but none could be saved.
Fox 17 spoke to husband Robert Scales Thursday night in front of the family home.
Nothing,
Jesus Christ.
Nothing that I ever could see coming.
Oh, baby. Loved ones have stood in support of Robert and his family.
There you go. And somebody commented something that was so true and so interesting. This actually happens in a lot of crime. Tell me if you guys have ever heard of this. A lot of times these people are sick. They'll return back to the scene of the crime. I mean, I guess he didn't have a choice if he was called, but a lot of times people, murderers, they'll come back to the scene of the crime. They want to see what's going on. They'll even go to the funeral. They'll go to the gatherings. They'll set up they'll help you on the search. They'll be out there searching with you for a missing person, knowing that they're the ones that did it. He said, God got something for me. And a lot of people were saying that was kind of a strange way to say things. I don't know what that means. It is kind of strange.
I have, and it may take time for the answer to come out, but I know God got something else for me. So,
So we're still recapping, and this is from February 2020. I wanted to show you a clip from the neighbors that you might have seen in the previous video, and then we're going to show you an interesting past that this woman, this wife, this mother was in fear for her life and her kids.
I was one of the first ones to see the fire, and my grandson tried to go. We kept banging and banging on the doors and stuff. No, we couldn't hear anybody. And then my grandson kicked in the door.
She runs outside, I run outside, and then we see the whole back half engulfed in flames. I bang on the windows, hear no answer. I kick in the front door and get halfway up the stairs, but the smoke and stuff was too much. And everybody was screaming for me to get out, and fire department came shortly after. And
after that, we didn't see the kids. We didn't hear anything or anything. So
as a father myself, I can't imagine losing my two children, other alone that he lost his house, his family, everything. So
one family member living out of state reached out to Fox 17 with serious concerns. Court documents filed by Juanita in September 2019, just months before the fire, show she was scared of what her husband was capable of. In a requested personal protection order, she says Robert had, quote, vandalized property and has threatened to burn the house down.
He literally previously threatened to burn the house down. Literally. Hey, lady. Okay, yeah, for sure. Colin, I'd appreciate that. If you want to share your experience or maybe give some advice for the ladies. I had to actually get a restraining order one time. It was kind of crazy. Okay, I think that might be lady. We'll play a couple more seconds of this and then we'll get to how crazy is that? Right? Defendant vandalized property and has threatened to burn the house down. And now the house is burnt. Is this a coincidence? No way. Hell no. Right? He has also threatened me in front of his children. Despicable, if it's true. Well, it's probably true, since given the circumstances. That if I try and stop him from damaging the home, my face was going to be next. Then he took his pointer finger in front of the kids and shoved my face. I'm greatly afraid. That's trust me, too, right? You'll see. You're speaking to the choir. Trust me. Yeah. Make a report like this and it doesn't get taken seriously, apparently. Right? You could be going through something and nothing happens. I'm greatly afraid for my life. He has stopped taking his prescribed medication. I don't know what So supposedly this guy was even taking medication. Supposedly. Will do. So this guy allegedly had on some medication. The guy threatens to burn the house and looks like now he followed through with it.
Telling the court, I'm begging you. I'm scared for my life. I don't know what else to do. I need help, please.
And they didn't do shit. And the woman's dead. And how many kids? 3 kids? 3 other kids?
Juanita had also filed for divorce. Both that and the request for a PP.
And it's kind of interesting, right? How it all ties in from the first story that we started talking about. The other 3 stories, it's a little difficult to cover when there's so little information. There's like not even a paragraph of information about it. So that's why I combined 3 stories tonight and to try to kind of tie it in. Supposedly October is Domestic Violence Month. I didn't even know that until tonight, really.
Were eventually
All right,
dismissed.
I'm gonna take this call.
But a few loved ones are still worried that
Look at that. That's the house right there, burnt down.
something
Dismissed.
horrible happened inside the home.
So here we are to some of the updates of the story, and I have a little bit of commentary after. But the father's charged in the death. He was supposedly using a fire pit that was next to the house. Details of the fire contained a probable cause affidavit filed by police to obtain charges in an involuntary manslaughter, which who knows could be upgraded because I don't believe that this was just some random accident. He was charged with the 4 counts of death, including his wife and the kids. The investigators found a mattress between a fire pit and the house. The pit was just 6 feet from the side of the house and 8 feet from the detached garage. Police interviewed Scales, and he admitted to starting a fire pit in the late afternoon hours, February 4th, 2020. A witness told investigators that Scales was still at the fire pit about 7 p.m. Another witness, a man who jointly ran a junk hauling operation with Robert Scales, told police that he was with Scales in the earlier evening hours, February 4th, and he was burning leaves, mattress, which is it. The business partner told detectives that when he left, also about 7 p.m., there was no mattress in the fire pit, so we have a difference of stories. The partner told detectives that it was common for Scales to have fires in the pit and burn materials from the junk.
No.
754, call back in. Call back in, lady. One more time. I got you. According to his statement, the business partner recalled telling Scales that he needed to get a bigger pit and also move away from the house. Personal protective order was denied by the judge in this situation because the judge believed that she was using this just to get the house for herself. You guys comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. I think most people knew something was wrong with this guy, but Tiffany, at the same time, this guy had a lot of support. I wonder if he was feeding off of that energy. Some people like that whole people coming to them and sympathizing and hugging them and supporting them, and maybe he got the attention that he never really had before, and everybody felt sorry for this guy, and now maybe this guy was ready to start a new life. And I'm sure there's a lot that we don't know. We're only seeing the very, very bare surface. All in the name of Jesus. Hallelujah. 754. Hey, how you doing? We're calling from.
Hi.
Who's this? Hey.
Hi, Camille.
Hey, is this lady?
Yes, this is Lady Issa. How are you?
Hey, good. Thank you for calling. I'm good.
Yes. So what I was saying is that, well, from my own experience and experiences that I've seen with other women and men, there usually are no signs. And then it just happens. And then you later find out that there has been a pattern, not just with you, that the situation has not just happened with you, but others prior to you with the same individual. Now, the person that I'm talking about right now at this time, that's in jail now for a couple of years, I found out that every woman that he was with, he did some very hideous things too.
Oh, wow.
I'm just like the first one. He went to jail many times, but it was like small stints, maybe like a couple of weeks, few days. But this time they threw the book at him. And that's because I was persistent.
Were you able to get him, like, so did you get like the whole restraining order thing and go through the whole process?
I had to plan it out. Everything. I had to listen to what the DMV department told me to do. And I had to stick with it. The number one thing is you cannot talk to them because they're very manipulative. Very manipulative. You have to just get to the point, shut out all your feelings. Just walk away because they don't care about you. They do not care about you at all.
So were you physically like hit?
Care about. Yes.
Okay.
Hit. Oh my goodness. I had concussions to my head. I ended up in Memorial so many times. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
Ridiculous. broken nose, dragged off. Oh, it was horrible. Horrible.
And cops were
Almost thrown
called out
on
too?
I-95. Yes.
How did the cops
Yes.
treat the situation when they got out there? Like, to
Oh, well, the last time he ended up bloody. He called himself trying to sue City of Hollywood. That didn't go well.
oh shit, you're here in Florida. Yeah, you're right here. Oh yeah, you got the local number. Oh shit. We could probably have stories behind the scenes.
Listen, this is why sometimes I refute a lot of things that I see people say in comments, because I have a lot of experience here with a lot of things. I've been here a long time. A very long time. A long time. A long time to know. And that's why it's a lot of things that happened with Leela's case. It's a lot of things that was going on. And listen, I'm not on Shannon. I'm for whatever. Somebody needs to be punished for whatever happened to her.
You talking about Leela, you're saying?
So, yeah, Leela Cabot.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying about that is that young lady didn't just come here blind. You understand me? She didn't just come here blind. And a lot of people are making it seem like she just came here on a whim. She didn't come here on a whim. She didn't just come here not knowing anything. It wasn't poor little Leela. It wasn't like that. And if Leela really wanted help, listen, I have been out there. And you know what? She was in the perfect environment to get help. Hollywood, Broward County has so many resources. You understand what I'm saying? The only thing Leela had to do was go to one of those resources. She didn't have to go where she went, but that was her choice. She made a lot of choices for herself. It's not her fault whatever happened to her. She's not here. She's no longer here. I've been in that situation before. My first husband was murdered. And the one thing that the more time that's gone, she's not here anymore. It's just, where is she and what happened to her? Then another thing, this man wasn't living on the streets. That's enough. That's out the door. He wasn't just randomly just on the streets. He was a homeless status, but he had somewhere else that he was going. You understand? It was somewhere he was going. He had a place that he was able to go when he wanted to go. He was very clean. He was healthy. There are a lot of things that people are not looking at.
What advice would you give to somebody in a situation like that? Let's say, I don't know, let's say they're...
What I would give to someone that is in a domestic violence situation.
They're living together. Let's say they have kids, which is even complicated, right? It's even more complicated.
Well, they make it complicated because they add in, I got kids.
Right.
People make it complicated when they say they got children. It's not complicated. Make a plan. Write down. Don't even write it down. Put it somewhere. If you got to write it down, put it in a tablet. Don't have it around in the house. Start getting all your documents together. Get all your important documents out of the house. Put it somewhere safe. If you got to go rent a storage, go get you a little small storage or somebody that you can trust. And the reason why I say don't tell too many people what you're doing, because people fall victim to the abuser. The abuser has a way of lying to other people about you. They will tell people, oh, that person, no, he, no, they're crazy. Something's wrong with them. Don't listen to them. Sometimes, what you don't know about him or her, sometimes they be using drugs. Did you know that they do this? And they lying the whole time.
Right.
And then what happens is these other people start telling the abuser all of your plans. And then your plans get foiled. And then the reason why I say don't get the restraining order right away is because you're alerting them. So you want to make sure you get everything taken care of. If you don't have resources, it's available for men also. Now here in Broward County, There is also a shelter, a domestic violence shelter for men.
Damn, I didn't know that. Oh.
I'm not going to say the name because it's private.
Okay.
But all they have to do is call the 611 line, and they will help them.
Mm.
Even if they've been hurt, go to the hospital. The hospital, trust me, I seen the men there. I stayed in that place. I stayed there for 6 months. Was it 4 months? And then guess what? What's the apple to that? It's a sweet apple pie to that. And this is why I say Leela had she had a mountain of resources here. They help you get a place. And then the rent is paid for a year. They help you furnish the place. All of these resources are here in Broward County. And it's not just here in Broward County, it's in Florida, period.
Right.
And I'm sure it's resources in other states. It's just that you have to go to it and you have to be consistent. You have to want to get the help. Now, what I have seen for my own eyes is that people who don't get the help are those who don't want to follow rules, meaning staying in the shelter, coming back at a certain time when you should come back, abiding by the rules so that you can maintain getting that help.
Okay,
That
so there's
I have
rules
always
and stuff
seen.
they have in these places.
Yes.
Okay.
But see, the place, the DMV place that I was at, it was just like a Ritz-Carlton. And I'm telling you the truth.
Damn.
We didn't have a set time. Now they may have changed a little bit now from what I've heard, just a little bit. Like as far as how, and then you could go fix your food whenever you want it. It was an open pantry. Oh my goodness, it was luxurious. So that some of the things that people say that make it seem like it's horror stories, listen, it's not like that all the time. And I've stayed in some of the worst places in shelters in downtown Miami, where you did have to come back at a certain time. Guess what? It's better than being on the streets. We had to be back by 8 o'clock. What's the big deal?
Okay.
And then if you had something that you wanted, that you had to do, say you worked, you tell your counselor who's over your case, I work. Fine. If you don't get off till 11 or 2 in the morning, that's what you do. That's when you come in. But then even if you wanted to go out or something, okay, I got a special event I want to attend. Fine. I'll give it to you this week. Everywhere has rules and regulations. Abide by it, you'll get the help.
All right.
That's it.
All right. Well, thank you, Issa. Appreciate the feedback.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Any other final
okay.
thoughts, or we're good on that?
Well, what I can say about domestic violence, I tell anybody, get out. Stop using the children as excuses.
Okay.
Get out, because you're only causing them more pain.
All right. Thank you.
Get out. Okay. Good
All
night.
right. Take care. You too. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Got another caller. Sorry, I had them on hold for a while. 912. How you doing? Where you calling from?
Hey.
Hi.
Oh, okay. I really don't want to say where I'm calling from. And
That's
I don't
fine.
want to say who I am.
Okay. We can do that.
I don't want to cuss about the caller that just called, but I'm going to just say that's some bullshit, okay?
What part?
It's not about not wanting to follow the rules. Is she crazy? These people are so manipulative. Now, one thing I can say that she said is that, yeah, they'll go around and they'll say you're crazy and all this kind of stuff. But people don't want to get involved, first of all. They don't want to get involved. I had neighbors that knew he was choking me. They don't want to get involved. They go back in their house. The police come out. They blame you because they're talking to the abuser. Then when I finally got fed up with it, I hit him with my car on purpose. And guess what? I went to jail.
Whoa. Hold on. Can you take that back again so we can hear it clearly?
I said, what part didn't you hear?
The whole with you were in this
Okay.
abusive relationship and things got to like a boiling point for you where you ran him over.
Right. And he was stalking me. He was threatening me. He would tell me he was in the Army, and he said if he lost his job, he would kill me. A restraining order does not protect you because
It doesn't.
It's a piece of paper.
It doesn't do shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It really
so
doesn't.
The final straw was I was getting ready he had just beaten me. I got in my car. I was getting ready to go to the police. He got in his car and he started. I knew what was going to happen because he had done it before. Even with my kids in the car, he would try to run me off the road.
Wow.
And I guess I just snapped and I was backing up and I saw him get in his car and I just put the car in drive. And I hit him.
Crap.
But I didn't hit him to kill him. I just hit him to slow him down. And then I went straight to the police department. But what happened was his leg got caught in between my Expedition and his Corolla. And so it cut it to the bone. And of course, I went to jail. Okay.
Wow.
I went to jail after years of abuse. And, it just really makes you mad because there's no help. You can't go to a shelter. Why do I have to leave my home? Why can't he get the fuck out of my home? This is my place where I pay the bill. He doesn't want to pay anything. I'm not going to a shelter. I need some help. So, okay. I'm listening to you in the background. I'm sorry. But anyway,
it's okay.
I'm getting confused. But yeah, that caller really just struck a nerve with me because it's easier said than done. They go to jail and they get out. And guess where they're coming? So anyway, it's easier said than done. I was scared out of my mind. I did not tell my family. I did not tell my coworkers because he said he was going to kill me. So I hit him with my car. That it did end it, but I got charged with a felony. And
that's kind of crazy that they still charge you though. Wow.
Well, because I did it on purpose. And so that was the whole thing.
It wasn't like self-defense, I guess.
Well, that's what I said. I did say it was self-defense. It was, but they felt like since I had already gotten in my car and I was leaving, there was no reason to hit him because I had gotten myself out of the situation. But the history between us, and I knew what he was going to do. So it's not a choice. And as much as people want to say reach out, nobody wants to get involved. So I don't want to say my name because I'm actually watching the show right now.
All right, thank you.
But yeah, okay, thank you.
I appreciate that sharing that experience. Thank you.
All right.
Thank
you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Wow, that was intense. I mean, I don't blame her. I am an advocate for self-defense if you're in your car. Somebody's trying to hurt you, get you out. I remember, I'm not going to get into details, but I do remember the one time, a long time ago, old relationship where I got a restraining order because it was getting kind of crazy. It was getting out of hand. And at one point, I got my tires slashed, all 4 tires. Got my tires slashed. I remember when I called the cops for having my tires slashed, they came out and they kind of laughed. They were like, okay. Like they just put it on a little piece of thing. I'm not even sure if they really even took a report. And they kind of gave me a number and they didn't really take that seriously. But I was able to get a restraining order on that particular person many, many years ago, which I've made amends with that person too, because I don't hold grudge like that. I think that person was going through some stuff, but no, I just remember, I can understand what Issa's trying to say. Like, you really have to make an effort to go through something. And at that time, I didn't have a child at the time. I was just single, so it was a lot easier for me. I can't imagine you're living with somebody and family and all that. Or can I? And and I remember going to court, and I had all my little documents and saved all my threats and stuff. Like, back in the day, this person literally threatened me, like my life. Like, I had it documented. This person didn't care. I had emails, had the text, everything documented, and they didn't show up to court. And so I was just there by myself, which is actually really good if they don't show up. And so I went into court. There was like a judge there. And I had such little time. It was like I felt so rushed because there's literally like other people they have to see in other cases or whatever. So I felt really, really rushed. And even before the whole restraining order thing, I remember like I had to go fill out paperwork first, and then you have to be like approved. It was like this thing where I had to go to Fort Lauderdale, and there's like this line of people, and then you have to say why you feel a certain way, and it's like a whole process. It's not like you say, "Oh, I'm being threatened, I need this," and they just give it to you. There's like a whole effing process. And I was approved, and then I went to the judge that day, and I got it. And like what this previous caller was saying, though, it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't really mean shit because that person still would show up at my place. That person still would make these like threats kind of stuff for a little while after. Like it really did help getting the restraining order, but it's just a piece of paper. It really doesn't mean shit. If somebody wants to come and get you, they're going to come and get you. You're going to have to like defend yourself, you know what I'm saying, by whatever means. But I mean, it's always good to have as documentation, you know, for if this, God forbid, this person comes and gets you, or they actually kill you one day, where there's a documentation, and you know we'll all be looking back and being like, oh, they didn't do anything. So, can you put the number back up for domestic violence? Yeah. Let me do that. Let me Google search it real quick. From what I noticed in those situations, see hotline. I feel like a lot of people here's the phone number. It's the National Domestic Line. Oh, let me make it bigger for you guys. 1-800-SAFE. I'm sorry, 1-800-799-SAFE 7233. But I feel like a lot of times those people don't really want help at the time. We got a caller too. Let me take a caller. Not that they don't want help. I'm not saying it to be nasty or mean, but what I'm saying is that a lot of times, because I've known people that like they call me and they're like, Mel, I'm going through this shit. I'm going through that shit. I'm dealing with this. You listen to them, you give them your advice, and they still go back and they still keep doing it. Because what I've learned from not only these people, but from my own personal experience, that person that's going through it has to really be done with it themselves. And it might take a couple of times. It might take you leaving and going back 10, 15 times until you finally had it and you finally reach that point, and then you're ready to leave. You know, so some people, they want it, but they just need to hear somebody telling them to like leave. From the people that I've spoken to anyway. 910. How you doing? Who is this? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Jennifer. So
Hey,
I just
Jennifer.
wanted to say,
Thanks for calling.
I just wanted to comment about the previous caller. I get what she's saying. This is something I don't ever talk about because I shouldn't be ashamed, but it's horrible. So I was married for a long time, and the one night he punched me in the face, and I'm covered in blood. And I'm trying to call the police, and he took my phone. They ended up coming, and he was like, oh, no, I didn't hit her. I accidentally opened the door, and it hit her in the face. And they told me, well, don't you have somewhere else you can go for the night? Why was he not? Why should I be going somewhere else for the night? You know? And so
they came
after
out.
that,
You were punched. You said you were punched in the face. The cops came out, and their solution was to separate you guys for the night.
well, they suggested I go somewhere else for the night. I mean, I'm sitting there in the front yard, like covered in blood, like all my clothes. So
How long
that
ago
I
was
think
this?
is ridiculous.
Like around how long? Because I'm curious. Yeah, how long was this? A very, very long time ago, like 10 plus years, or kind of more recent?
No, this was probably about 7 years ago.
Okay.
So I got my shit together, and I ended up moving me and my son out of there into our own home, even though that was our home, and I did everything to
Whose
get
house was
myself
it? Somebody in the chat's asking, whose house was it?
It was our house. We were married.
Together. Oh,
it was
okay,
our
right.
house.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So I moved into my own house, good to go. In the middle of the night, because he knew all my stuff, so he knew when I got paid and everything. In the middle of the night, he broke into my house, robbed me completely. He told the investigators he did it, and they said, "Oh, well, y'all are still married, so, oh, well." He could have come into the house and killed me. They said, "Oh, well, y'all are still married, so he can come into your house whenever he wants."
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, people who do the things to be protected and get away are still not protected by the law and police and everything. They're not being protected.
Somebody's asking, if you're comfortable, why did he punch you? Was there a reason? Like, do you even remember the specifics? Because somebody's asking, did you start? I know that's kind of, I don't mean to be insensitive, but people are wondering. And I honestly, I think it's not.
I don't.
Go ahead.
We were having words, but he did a lot of drugs.
Okay.
And I believe that's what usually was it. He would do all these drugs and spend every penny of his money on drugs, and I would get tired of completely taking. I'm not your mother. I'm not here to take care of you. While you go spend, thousands of dollars a month on crack,
Right. Okay. So, do you have any particular advice for people that are going through that situation? Maybe similar, like you're living with this person, you have kids. Is it as simple as just get out, or?
I would, but it is so tricky because, like I said, even once, you get out, if they find you, the police are not doing anything, and they're like, well, get a divorce. Well, divorces cost like $5,000.
Right. No. Yeah.
That's not something people just have. They're. I don't know what kind of advice to give because, like I said, I tried to do everything that I could think of to be safe, and
right.
It didn't work out, and I felt like the police really let me down. Like, I would have thought they would have, like, he broke into my house. He wasn't on the lease. He'd never lived there.
Right.
And they were like, oh well.
Okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for calling in too.
Yeah,
is your first time calling in? Have you called before?
Yeah, I've called several times.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
A little bit.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that story. I appreciate it.
All right. No problem. Bye.
Interesting. Dorsey, thank you for the donation. Oh, I should have, I had her on the phone. I think Jennifer's in the chat though, so if I can see her reply. Dorsey says, just a question. Did y'all have a joined account? Because if you didn't, the investigator should have done something. A joint account? Are you talking about the caller or which person are you talking about, Dorsey? Kay says she wants to call in. Okay, here's the number. If you guys want to call in and just give your experience. I know guys go through it too. And some guys, you don't hear about it as often. I'm looking on YouTube also. I was trying to see if there's any interesting stories. There's a bunch of stories if you look online, but I was trying to see if there's anything in particular. Oh, man. Oh, my God. We're going to take the caller, but I don't know if we watched this one time. Catherine Knight. This woman was nuts. She used to beat the guy, do all kinds of things to guys. It was definitely a domestic violence issue. And towards the end, she ended up killing this guy, like stabbing him. and like literally eating him, his body, cannibalizing him while the kids were staying at somebody else's house. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that story. Oh my God. Catherine Knight. Oh my God. Okay, 731. Let me take that. There we go. 731.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing? Where you calling from?
I don't really want to give my name or
Sure.
number.
No problem.
So you are my location.
Okay.
But I do agree with the last two callers. I've had my own experiences with domestic violence. I literally had to leave where I was just to get away from that person. Every time I would call the police, he would get out of jail and he would come right back to my house.
Oh, wow.
He broke windows with his bare hands.
Wow.
He kicked down doors. I put my furniture and a bed on my door so that he wouldn't get in, and he still kicked the door down. What I will say, and I was kind of hesitant on calling because this is still a touchy subject for me. But one thing I will say is that if you're in a domestic, an abusive relationship, the worst thing you can do is let them know you're leaving. Just leave. If you can, leave without them even knowing that you're going to. Don't say anything. Don't give them any type of notion that you're going to leave, because if you do, you can easily lose your life. I am praying for anyone that has or is going through this, because I know all too well how it is. But one more thing I will say before I leave is a lot of people overlook narcissistic people.
Can you explain a little bit what a narcissist is? Because I was actually talking to a friend about this yesterday, literally on the phone. I was asking him his definition.
It's actually more than one type of narcissist.
Okay.
And I've also had to Google it myself, but anybody that's controlling, that wants you to do something that you're not comfortable with doing. Basically someone that wants control of any or everything that goes on with not only you, but anybody else around you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was the final solution? I'm just kind of curious with your situation. I know it seems like it's a really deep, touchy subject for you. I'm just curious, how did you finally get out of that? Like, or this person stop coming after you and looking for you and all this kind of crazy.
He's still looking for me.
Wow.
To this day, he's still looking for me. I only told maybe a handful of people where I was going that I trusted. And I've still had people come to me and tell me that he's asking about me and asking, do they know where I'm at or where I live, till this day. And it's been a little over 3 years since I've seen or talked to him at all. But my final straw was when I told my best friend that I was tired. And she said, no, I'll know when you're tired. She said, you'll know when you're tired, because when you're tired, you'll leave.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you sharing those thoughts and your experience.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye. Damn. That was I feel for that lady. There's more people calling in, so I'm going to take these calls. It's kind of crazy to hear, like, you know, how some people are still, and I've heard of those stories, like they won't stop. They'll keep looking, searching, and all our information is online. I mean, anybody can just look you up. It's really hard they should make something for people that are in those situations to make their information more private or something. All right. 914. How you doing? Where you calling from?
Hey, I'm calling from New York.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Sharice. I'm
Charisse.
calling in because I'm actually inside of a domestic violence shelter as we speak, and I am still hiding from my daughter's father. It was like a long situation that we've been through,
Wow.
where I didn't know that she was his daughter biologically, and I thought she was possibly my son's father's. And she came out a couple of months later looking like him and stuff like that. And then he just started like stalking me because he really wanted it from the beginning. So as we speak, I'm like literally hiding out at a DV shelter, and it's kind of still hard to get away from the situation because of emails are the same, or he might know my email, where he's hacking my email, he's figuring out where like my physical therapy office is at and those types of things. So I just want to say to a woman that is going through that it's always someplace safe to be at, and to always have faith in God and believe in what you stand for, and never accept abuse, and that is not love.
And so, just curious, to that shelter, did they provide for you and like your kids like a place or something, or?
Yeah, me and my kids are all both staying here. I have an 8-year-old and a 4-month-old.
Wow.
And we both stay inside of the shelter. It's kind of like in New York, they do like scatter house sites where there's no like security in the building, but they'll like put you off at a location where it's like your own apartment. They provide you like different housing and stuff like that.
And how did you go? Did you just call a line, like a hotline over there or something, to get help?
Yeah. In New York, you call Safe Horizon. It's like a domestic violence abuse line.
Okay.
Called Safe Horizon.
Okay. And did he just want to see his child, or was it just more than that? Like the guy's just.
Well, we don't have a good relationship, so right now it's kind of feeling like he's using the child as like leverage to get to me. But when he's around me, it's not that he's making any situation safe for the child. So it's like, do you really want to see a child, or do you want to just like kind of like put me in a situation where you want to hurt me and the child? Like, and you never know, when somebody's around you that don't care about your kids, you can't take those risks to even consider the fact. Right now, I have all protection against me and my kids against him. So.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that call from New York.
Yes.
All right, take care. All right, I'm gonna keep it moving because we're getting several people calling in now. Interesting call though, especially from somebody from a shelter. It would also be interesting to hear from somebody that actually does that, like somebody that does that kind of stuff, abuses, or I don't know. Let me see. 609. Hello, you're on the line. You're live.
Hi, I'm new here. How
Hey, welcome. Good. Thank you for calling. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. I won't get my name, but I am calling from New Jersey.
Jersey. Okay.
And I agree with the women, but I also think that everybody's situation is different. Mine was very abusive, but it was drugs and alcohol involved. So that kind of played a part, and it's mental illness. So it made it worse. I have gotten thrown out of moving cars. I have got jumped by family members. He broke my arm in 2 places.
When you say family members, you're talking about your own family or like this other person's family?
His daughters.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So it's everybody's situation is the same, but it's different. In a nutshell, everybody's situation is different. I had been to shelters, but we were married, and I chose not to do all the investigation on him. And his ex-wife before me was in the same situation. So when I went to the safe house, he actually knew where everyone was at.
Oh, wow. Jesus.
So the safe house wasn't even a safe house for me. So women, it's really hard to get out of a situation like that, especially when I was mentally taken over by this man. Like, he controlled what I wear, the way I thought, like I wasn't myself. I was a whole nother person. I was really a whole different person, and I liked it. And that's the weird part. I actually liked it until people was like, that's not normal. That's not right. You know, I thought it was normal. I had been in abusive relationships all my life from the age of like 17 on up. So I was used to it. But he was the worst. I mean, choked me out in front of my children.
Oh, Jesus.
Tried to kill me in front of my mom. He cut me up one night. The police do not care. It got to the point where the police, I would call so much that they would take their time. They would take their time getting to my house. Like, oh, here they go again, the married couple fighting again. Here they go. They got to the point where they knew us. If we were walking down the street, they would stop and say, hello, how are you? It just got to the extreme. Recently, I said enough is enough. I said enough is enough. And I bought tasers, mace, knives, anything you can. I have a taser in my car, a taser in my home. You know, I'm paranoid. I got cameras all around my apartment. It's frightening and it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy at all. You know, the dreams, the flashbacks, it really takes a toll over your body. And I'm just now getting out. And I'm even scared to get a divorce at this point.
Wow.
Ladies, love yourself. Learn how to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you're going to be stuck with him regardless.
Okay.
Love yourself. Protect your children. I mean, I have here in New Jersey, we call it diapers. I have diapers in my life because this man was beating me for years. And it was around my children. So I also had to get out of the situation because it's like these people could take my kids because I keep going back to the situation. Until today, I watch my back. He knows where I live, but I got tired of running. And I said, look, I got to the point where it's like, we're going to have to kill each other.
Oh, Jesus.
You come up in here, I'm going to put up a fight. And one of us ain't leaving out. But that's all I wanted to say. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you. Appreciate you telling your story. I know it's just a little glimpse, but yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a
You too. All right. I got 3 people here. I've always wondered about that too. Like people that say they've been in abusive relationships their entire life. I've always wondered why. You know, you ever look at that? Like why? You know, like when I would be in bad relationships, I would look at it and be like, why am I attracting that or something? Not to say, not trying to be negative, like somebody's wants to be abused or anything like that, you know. 646. Hello. How you doing? Where you calling from?
Hi, how you doing? It's Khadijah. I don't know if you remember me, but I caught one of your lives a while ago. But anyway, I wanted to reach my heart out to all the women. You're going to remember me in 1 second. I want to reach my heart out to all the women that call because I'm almost in tears right now listening to these stories. And I'm going to say to you, since you said you were in bad relationships, let me ask you a question that I know I can take accountability for. But my mother was abused from, I was 3 on up to 9. For those years, I sustained abuse from her husband, who also abused me and abused everybody in the family. It was something that at that time, because I'm almost 60 years old, so this is back in the 60s. So we didn't have diapers. We didn't have all of that. You understand what I'm saying? So we had to just withstand. She actually had to call her brothers to come and get him out the home finally. So, you know, it's really a desperate, and my point to you is that I have suffered in relationships too, but I'm kind of a stand-up chick. I don't put up with too much. So,
Right.
you know, I received it from, and this is the craziness, from my own son.
You what from your own son?
From my own son. I had to deal with, when you asked the young lady about narcissism, I'm sorry, I can't say the word. My son was very narcissistic. We couldn't pick up on what was going on with him. And he beat, when I tell you he beat me up, beat my daughter up, beat everybody up. So narcissistics are people that feed on you. When they can't feed on you no longer, they want to do you so dirty. What they want to, it's really the worst thing you could ever have. And like the young lady said, it's different spectrums. That's what they call it.
Okay.
Yeah, so all of the people that were speaking, that said people, they were definitely all some type of spectrum of narcissistic. You understand what I'm saying? And the question I like to ask the young ladies is, what did you go through as a child? Because if they never experienced this as a child, then that's a different situation. You know, they just got with somebody crazy. But I can guarantee you, most of the people that just were talking, they experienced abuse in the home as a child. I have never, my kids have never seen any man put their hands on me ever. You can ask every one of them. They can tell you, no man, they've never seen that, because I made sure of that.
Okay. All right, that's a good question. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to tell you, because it's a lot going on right now, this is how you're going to remember me. I got a book today, and this book was very, very good. And it explained about this, and I don't want to use the word, I'll say jury for the word I want to use. But those people have something called the murder ritual. That's what it's called, the murder ritual. And y'all need to really check that out about what's going on with this murder ritual. It's serious. And I found a document on it today. If you Google murder ritual, you'll see what I'm talking about. It is what's going on right now. This is serious, and this is not a joke. Yes.
Murder ritual.
I'm sorry. The Jew murder ritual.
Oh, Jew
there we
murder
go.
ritual. Okay.
Jew murder ritual. Yes, where they're getting the kids. They want them young. They want them innocent, and they want them healthy. And they use the blood to make this bread. I forgot the name of the Jewish bread they make, but they use that on what do you call it? Passover, and they use it for I want to say the 31st of December, whatever that holiday is, right before New Year's.
Yeah.
They use it for that. I think that when Jesus Christ was sacrificed or whatever,
right.
They are doing rituals on us, and this is what's going on. And I don't care what nobody say. These people that's losing their mind, they're all losing their mind over all of these rituals they're doing. Because you just show me a whole family. I didn't even know that the man's whole family got taken out. Like, what is that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and y'all really need to read that. It's only about 50 pages, but it's a good read. I'm up to about 25 right now. And if you read what's going on there, you can see why this royal is so crazy, because most of those people are in the judicial system, they're in the medical system, they're in the school system, and I'm talking about the higher ups. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the regular people that work there. I'm talking about the higher ups. This is what's going on, and people really need to understand this. It's really horrible that everybody wants to blame the victim, blame these people. It's too much going on right now, and y'all really need to understand. And I feel bad for these women that have to run. But my thing right now, I believe, I don't mean to bring this up like this is some big deal, but Medea said one thing that I believe. She said, you know your abuser. It's two kinds of abusers. It's the punk kind and the one that's going to kill you. You need to know which one you're dealing with. So once you know which one you're dealing with, I love when she said she ran him over with the car. I heard you say, what did you say? I thought she said she hit him with a pipe.
I don't blame her. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a blessing talking to you.
Thank you so much for calling.
Out there today.
Appreciate it.
You know, because I've been through it, and I'm of age. I can tell everybody, you just got to take it one day at a time, man. It's all you can do. You know, it's nothing else you can do. You know, you can't train. What do you call it? Change people. You just got to change yourself.
Thank you. Appreciate the call.
Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
All right.
All right. We're winding down. I have 3 more people. I think these are gonna be the last calls because we're almost at 2 hours. Yo, the chat's wild too, man. The chat is gonna be pretty wild, probably. 914, how you doing? Where you calling from? And Kate, thank you for calling, by the way, telling your story. 914. You're live. You're on the phone, and we're all waiting for you. 914.
Hola, Latina. Latina.
Oh, Latina, how you doing? I got you.
I am fine.
Thanks for calling.
I just want to say about 3 real quick things, and then you have to hush me. One, I really want to give like major kudos to the several women that have called in tonight. I mean, every single person has their own story. Everything I heard, I mean, just came from such a raw place. And I don't think I'm in a position, I really don't think any of us really is, to judge why they stayed, when they stayed, why they left. I just think, the journey for each person is different, but if a person is being abused, whether male or female, having the courage to extract yourself, is the best thing to do. Miss Isa, I think her name was, that called, I really would hope that maybe you would collect a list of things, and maybe just like a link it up, or you could do it. I don't know how you do those things, but that we could look back to say, what are her 10 things that she thinks that we should do as people that are observing others being abused and as victims of abuse.
It might be a good video
I
to make.
can't. Yeah, go back and see. Yeah, maybe, because it was really, really helpful. Just to me, I can say. The other 2 things I wanted to mention, there was somebody that asked something that was a little confusing about, did the person have a separate account or something? It was somebody who gave a super chat, and I think I feel like her name might have been Dorsey or something. Anyway,
Dorsey, yeah.
I think what she might have meant was, because I know in the work that I do, we always encourage people, even if you're in love, and and everything's perfect, and we really encourage people to always keep a separate bank account, just a small little account separate from your lover, your common law person, your partner, because you just simply don't know. And this also goes for elderly people. I mean, when somebody dies, let's say you're married to that person, you have all your joint accounts are frozen for 90 days.
Oh.
Okay. So if you are trying to get into your bank account, your spouse dies, the courts can come in, or it can go to probate, and your accounts are frozen. And then what do? You can't pay your rent. So I think it's just a wise thing in general, no matter how much you love that individual,
Have your own
a small
account.
little stash.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think that's what that person meant. I really do. And just the last thing I wanted to say was, with all due respect to the last caller, I mean, she had a lot of truth. I do believe that the cycle does replay itself generation to generation. You asked the question earlier about your own self, like what is it that draws people, to you, or how do you get attracted, or how do they get attracted to you?
Right.
And I can speak for myself. Not that I've ever been in a domestic violence relationship, but I was a quintessential nerd, bullied horribly, like in elementary school, and whatnot.
Really?
And even to my bullied. Anyway, even into my adult life, I firmly believe that people can somehow pick up on those aspects of our vulnerabilities, because I do find, now I'm going to hang up and everybody in the chat is going to bully me probably, but I do find that people sometimes will bully or tease, not everybody, but I have to take a strong look at my vulnerabilities and figure out what is it that people pick up on my vulnerabilities that allows them to take advantage of me. So I just wanted to mention that. And I do agree with that last caller on that point. But with all due respect, I do not believe that evil and narcissism and cruelty exists in one religion or one creed or one faith. I think we could go back to this Shannon or guy that you know, and he was into witchcraft. I mean, I think evil exists in the world, and I think this is just with all due respect. I think if we broad brush one group of people by creed, color, culture, I think it can be dangerous.
Right.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I thank you for the Amazon stuff too. The next time I record out, I'm gonna shout you out for that next time I'm in the car. But thank you so much. I appreciate all the support.
Thank you for listening to my point.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks.
for taking my call and listening to my point of view.
Thank you. All right.
Adios.
Adios. Cuídate. So that was Dre Latina. I'm gonna take the next caller because this person's been holding for like 19 minutes. So I'm so sorry about that. But it's really interesting, the whole thing where you kind of reflect, because I talk to my other friend sometimes, Alvin, and when some of the times you wonder about some of the things that you attract. I don't know if that's the law of attraction, but then you kind of like look and reflect, like, why am I attracting that? Like, why is it that, you know, let me pick this up. 843. How you doing? Where you calling from?
I'm calling from South Carolina, Charleston.
South Carolina.
My story is slight different. I'm a new caller.
Oh, welcome.
And when they say domestic, thank you. When they speak about domestic violence, that can go both ways. It was a couple of years ago. My nephew was in a relationship with this young lady, and we thought it was a good relationship for him because him and his baby mama, his kid's mother, they split up, and she went on with his life, and she went on with her life. He went on with his life. Then he met this young lady, and we would go to family reunions, and we would invite her over, and we just thought that, you know, she was a perfect girl, perfect one for him. But little do you know, to make a long story short, is that she came from a rough background, and he was such an easygoing, quiet young man. Got himself a good paying job and tried to change her life around, that she was like a partying type of girl. And he wasn't from that life. He was not from that life. So when he would go to work and work midnight, sometimes he would work 6 and 7 days a week just to help provide the things that give her the finest things in life. Things that she wasn't never, you know, used to having. So she just was out there, and he finally came to realize that I cannot change this person. She has to want this for herself.
Right.
So when he finally left that relationship, he bought himself a house, moved his kids, took care of his kids, you know, tried to do the right thing. And her mom put her out of her house. So she called him, asked him, can I come stay over for a couple of days till I find a place? And my mom put me out. You know he loved her.
Right.
And he took this girl in. He took her in. She came to be very possessive.
Oh,
so
boy.
Every time his new female friends would call, she would pick up the phone and always try to damage the things that he had going on with this new relationship he was trying to pursue. But this particular night, she got a hold of the phone. So he's chasing her out of the house to get a hold of his telephone. Someone see him in the street chasing her. He chased her down, grabbed the phone from her. So they're wrestling all over the ground. The first thing people are going to think, this guy is beating this girl. Never was arrested by the police. He was 27 years old and don't have no police record. He flags down the cop because he don't want them to think he's beating her.
Right.
He flags down the cop, hey, you know, I need help over here. The police come and he tells her, okay, this is his home. You have to leave. She said, I want my things. So the police said, well, I could give her bag clothes. The police said, no, you know what? Come back in the morning when things cool down.
Okay.
You can get your things. She waited until this police officer left, and she called 2 family members of hers. They come back to his house 2 hours later. They knocked on the door. He let her in.
Oh.
He said, I'm going to let you in to get your things. He let this female in his house. She goes upstairs and get her clothes. She see a knife that she had left on the windowsill. She grabbed the knife and put it in her bra.
Oh my
She
God.
goes downstairs and tell her cousin, "Y'all wait here to the door. I got something I want to say to him." Now he don't have anything to protect himself. He's just thinking maybe she want to talk and beg for him to keep her there. This girl goes in her bra and stabbed my nephew in his heart. Instead of them calling the EMS, she's afraid she's going to be arrested. They take and drag him in his own car. Take him out of her car. First they put her in her friend's car. They said the blood was going to mess up the friend's car. So they take him out of the friend's car and put him in his car. Take him to the emergency room. He dies an hour later. They arrest her. Don't you know that girl got away with murder because she claimed that he was beating her outside the house.
Oh my God.
We took this thing to civil court. We fight, me and my sister, we tried to fight, but that stand the ground law is here in South Carolina. And they were saying, I said, well, how could that be possible? Because that was his house. And he let her in to get her things. She's supposed to have got her clothes and left. She turned back around, went in the kitchen and killed him. So where is the justice there?
Wow.
There's no justice. People think as females, they're not the only ones that are being abused.
Thank you for that call. I really appreciate that. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. She not only hurt him, but she hurt the kids he left behind. Him and his mom had a good relationship. To show you the type of guy he was, him and the kid's mom had an awesome relationship. But because you cannot change people, you can't change them.
I agree.
So
Man,
thank you guys for listening. I
what
just
a
wanted
horrible
to put
story.
that out there. It's not only women.
Was this recently or a long time ago, or how long?
No, this was about 4 years now.
Wow. And so she didn't get charged for murder. She just got charged for, or did she even get charged for anything?
She got charged, but they arrested her for murder because when the policeman was at the hospital, they asked her, who did this? And she said she did it. She said, I didn't mean to kill him. I only wanted to sick him. I only wanted to hurt him. So in so many words, you just wanted to hurt him because he hurted you because he told you he was done. So some people hit rejection.
Right.
And I just couldn't get it. I still don't get it to this day. How she didn't even do a year. She did 6 months in the county jail.
Wow. I would like to look into that story. If you ever want to email me sometime, you can email me behind the scenes. If you want to send me the name, maybe I can cover it.
Sure.
That is so horrible. Yeah, ikidmail@gmail.com. There is a whole nother side, though. I'm really glad for your call because I've gone through stuff myself. I just really don't talk about it out of respect, but there's a whole nother aspect to that stuff too. I mean, you mostly do hear about men doing it to women, but there's women out there that really turn up and go crazy and turn the whole situation around, and so
exactly. They play the victim.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so much for the call.
The law is not fair. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow. Let me take this other caller, and maybe I'll end off on some of my thoughts. 321. How you doing? Where you calling from?
Yo, I'm jealous.
Oh, Jason,
can you hear me, bro?
Jason, doctor.
Man, you already know, man.
Let's do it. Let's get it.
Nah, Dr. Ikidmail. Dr. Ikidmail, it's a privilege and a pleasure to always talk to you, bro. Man, bro, I really had my thoughts together into that previous call. You just blew my head.
Yeah.
All right, so first thing I want to say, man, I love your chat, but and I'm gonna try to keep it PG-13. But what we should have learned from this open dialogue is all these cases of abuse, they different. You understand what I'm saying? So anybody coming through with any judgmental stuff really needs to look up what we was talking about narcissistic behavior. See, the coolest thing I learned about like the narcissistic behavior, and I'm gonna tie this in, is the dude that killed my sister behind domestic violence. Nothing that he ever did was wrong. You feel me? She was always wrong. Or the reason he would put hands on her was because something happened to him. So she was an upstanding woman in these streets. Like she worked a job. Like when he killed her, we was all in high school. So, we doing little stuff, getting ready to go to college or whatever. So, when he put one in her head or whatever, like it wasn't his fault. Even in the suicide note that he wrote, because when he killed her, she was a lifeguard. She a lifeguard. So this narcissist, and understand what narcissist mean, bro. He was so selfish. He domed her ass at a pool full of kids, bro. And then after he killed her, walked right next to the lifeguard stand and killed himself. Now let me tell you where we wrong as men, bro. She opened her heart up to me and told me about this and was like, this, he killed her in 97. If any of y'all need the fact proof, just Google Megan Ridgway and look at the Safe Harbor Project. I'm originally from South Carolina. So after her death, we got with Safe Harbor and started a foundation based on her name. You understand? Right. So when she came to me and I understand, I'm from a whole different vibe. My city different. So when I say this, my sister, understand our DNA don't make us brother and sister. What make us brother and sister is all the Christmases and Thanksgivings we spent together. So when you Google her, Mel, she a white woman. Mm-hmm. So to anybody in the chat that dealing that race shit, y'all not gonna understand what I'm saying. This was my sister. This happened in 1997, bro. Like I still close my eyes and see what she looked like in that box. But long story short, bro, when she hit me, from my conversations, I get on that hood shit. Me and mine go put hands and feet on him, thinking we can beat this out of him. So what he do? He laid low for 6 months, and then he went and killed her. So what I want to say to everybody, man, listen, to all these women that were strong enough to share their story, man, I love y'all, man, and support to y'all. Until I hopped in your chat on this discussion, bro, I did not realize that it was so many women that was going through this. And as a man, what we got to do is we got to put our, if your sister come to you and tell you about that, you need to love and support your sister and not make the move you want to. Because see, ultimately, when we move as men, like I'm trying to defend my sister, I'm trying to defend my mom, we don't realize that we being the same narcissistic asshole that's beating her. Sometimes women just need an ear and knowing that when it's game time, we gonna get in the game. You understand what I'm saying? And bro, this domestic shit, man, like I want to simplify it and say they all SpongeBobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. But bro, this dude in that story you told me about, man, to put 10 in your old lady with your children around, like kill yourself, my ninja. Yeah. Kill yourself, bro. I got more respect for a dude to blow his head off than to kill his whole family. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, man, like, look, and you know how I am. I'm pro no relationships. I'm not trying to mess with no women right now. Right. But women are the key to our life, bro. And the fact that it's domestic shit, like Melvin, I'm from South Carolina. You know, the first time you beat your woman, it's a misdemeanor, bro. Oh yeah. Like you really gotta beat your woman in South Carolina 3 times to catch a felon. Oh wow. By the third time, yeah, bro. Now you Google a lot of these states. This ain't just South Carolina. There's a lot of states, man. And the biggest issue, and man, I could go on all night. Let me just say this one thing. For anybody in here, Lord, I'm on my car case shit, Lord. I don't want to curse, bro. Anybody in here that's judging a woman based on her experiences, how can you judge a woman based on what she did, on what you would do, when you ain't even got the same fucking shoes she got on? So all this judgmental shit y'all doing, did y'all have same bank accounts? Did y'all live in the same house? Yo, that's SpongeBob to me. A nigga that you love put his hands on you. He started crying, saying he would never do it again. Y'all got babies together. So how I'm gonna judge a woman on what she was moving on when I don't know what happened to her when she was 5 years old. See, I'm not going to talk about what happened to my sister and her past abuse as a child, but a lot of decisions, and SIP to my sister, she been gone since I was 18, bro. I'm 40. So don't tell me that I don't understand that some shit can happen to you when you a little girl that make you excuse what a dude do to you 15 years later. You understand? Right. So and bro, when I saw that judgmental shit in your chat, man, I went and got on my other phone and started checking in with my aunts. You know what I mean? Like my Sabrinas. Like I started checking in on the women in my life. Like, yo, you know, if you ever need me, I feel like you should know it. But if you don't know it, I'm here to show it. Holla at your boy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I gotta step outside myself because Mel, I'm from a situation, you know, I'm half Spanish. We'll go do 25 years for our sisters. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing to it for me to go, you know, exterminate a situation, but that's me being selfish. That's me being narcissistic. Sometimes these women just need to know that it's somebody that loves them. And this judgmental shit, that don't do nothing but make another. All being judgmental does in this situation is making a woman become closeted again. Because she don't know. This the love of her life. They chilling for 6-7 years and then one day he pop you in the mouth. You want to believe that he can change. But bro, Mel, we men, Melvin. Yep. Once you hit somebody in the Melvin, I have never in my life had a woman make me even think about hitting her. Even though I've been hit by a woman. But you know, I was doing some crazy shit. That's why a woman hit. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't want to like blame everything on men and say it's just a man's issue. It's an environmental issue. See, one of the reasons women stay closeted is because in the black, brown, and white communities, especially if you were 80s baby, a lot of things we kept secret. Like what goes on in this house stay in here. So there's a lot of molestation that was happening in our communities back in the day and even now, where a woman doesn't feel like she can be open. And she looking at this dude like, okay, you hit me, but you say you love me and you pay the bills. See, you understand what I'm saying? So my biggest issue here is y'all quit judging these women that's strong enough. You know how Mike Tyson strong you got to be to hop on a platform like Icket Mail with 1,000 people watching live with the potential of 20 to 30,000 other people to see this. You say your name and explain that you was fucking abused. Sorry for the F word. Do you know how that pisses me off, bro? Like, if it wasn't for Sin and Cara, I wouldn't even have called in because I'd be emotional, bro. Like, no homo. Like, I got tears in my eyes because you got women calling in and they society made these women look like they weak. But these women so Mike Tyson strong that they calling in because they survived a situation and they trying to help other women not go through what they went through. Man, let me cut myself because I could keep going, man. But love is love. Hey, man, I appreciate your platform. And Mel, and to every woman that hopped on this live, every woman that dropped something in this chat, know that if don't nobody else love you, Icky Mel and Jason love you. And the difference between Icky Mel and Jason's still affiliated with a power group. So if somebody touching you and you want us to expedite that situation, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, love and blessings to you. Shout out, shout out to the baddest queen in the world. Shout out to Maddie. You know what I'm saying? Hey. I love Maddie when y'all be doing them videos. You know what I mean? Blessings to Queen Maddie. Shout out to the chat, bro. I'm gonna quit bothering y'all. Have a good night.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Take care, dude.
Love, bro. I appreciate everything you do.
Thank you, man. That's Jason, Dr. Jason. Sherlyn said, Jason, you have hit home with me. I was in a domestic violence relationship for 2 years. When he tried to kill me, he turned the gun on himself and killed himself in front of me and my kids. Jesus. It's insane to hear some of these stories. Don said, I actually disagree with Jason. I do appreciate all the people that called, man, because I know for some people to call in sometimes they feel a little bit apprehensive. Especially people go back and they look in the comments. I think that I've been doing this for such a while now that I'm somewhat desensitized to the comments. And so it's kind of a little hard for me to understand, when some people, and I get it, but I just go through it so much. I don't even like look at, unless it's live chat. When there's negative comments, I don't even look at it. I just like, all right, I just keep moving. But I understand for some people, especially if they're telling their story and then you're hearing all these different, questions or things popping up. The other thing too is the internet is savage. The internet, oh my God, the way the internet works, especially Facebook. I think Facebook's probably one of the worst as far as people looking into and invading privacy. You can probably make the argument Twitter's kind of bad too. I really felt for that lady that called with the son. I'm glad that I got to hear that perspective too, from the guy's perspective too. And I sometimes wonder if there's people out there that like take advantage of this whole, some of the stigmas or the stereotypes, maybe the stereotypes or the stigmas, where they know, well, I'm in this situation and it's usually this going on, so I can, for example, it's usually a man hitting a woman, so I can turn it around and be like, oh, well, this guy was hitting me, and they'll just believe it. Or even the whole term narcissism, I feel like that term gets thrown out there so much. I see everybody using it, and then I'm wondering, like, is that just one of those terms that people throwing out there now? Is that just one of those labels that everybody now is a narcissist? Am I a narcissist, right? It's like, am I a narcissist? Or somebody said a while back, they were like, all YouTubers are narcissists. And then I started wondering, and I asked my friend the other day, like, what is a narcissist? Let me see here. I personally don't like to get too much into this label stuff because it's just never ending. But it says a disorder which a person has a self-inflated sense of self-importance. Narcissistic personality disorder is found more commonly in men. What? Hell nah. This is unknown. The cause is unknown why, but likely involve a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Symptoms include excessive need for admiration, hence YouTuber, disregard for others' feelings, and inability to handle any criticism, YouTuber, and sense of entitlement. I definitely don't fall in the inflated sense of self-importance or the sense of entitlement. The criticism thing, I don't know. I think everybody feels a certain way about criticism. Criticism's good, but then there's also trolls out there. Am I a narcissist? But I also feel like that's one of those labels that people just throw on somebody too. Like, oh, you have a disagreement, you're a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? My ex is being whatever to me. Oh, he's a narcissist. Lack of empathy. Inability to listen. My exes will go down this list. He never listened to me. Desire to be admired, unable to take criticism, inability to listen. Relationship consistency, lack of empathy. Self-absorbed, entitled, callous, exploitative, authoritarian, aggressive. Let me see what the chat is saying. I'm over here getting lost into this whole narcissism thing. Everyone has a whiff of narcissism if you're a full-blown narcissist. Okay. Oh, and you would know about that whole narcissism thing. Only because you have one underlying symptom doesn't mean you're automatically a narcissist. Okay. Oh boy. Jerry Latina. She said, I'm going to send you a 10-minute narcissism test. All right. I'll answer honestly. There are a lot of personality disorders. It's mind-boggling, literally. And what if somebody is a narcissist? So what then? Right? Like, what are you supposed to take a medication? Or is it just a realization that you're a narcissist or something? They have a label for everything, right? They're like, I could be labeled 20 different things now. Treatment can help, but this condition can't be cured. So you're screwed if you're a narcissist. Requires a medical diagnosis. Can last for years or be lifelong. I'm cold. Sense of entitlement. Inability to handle any criticism. Oh, there's therapy for it, I guess. Drea said, I'm going to send you a 10-minute narcissism test. And then she also commented, thank you for the super chats, by the way. Appreciate it. You're not a narcissist, and there are no meds for narcissism. Okay. Yeah, we could do that. We could do a video. We'll all do a narcissist test. Jason would do. That was a really great call, though, Jason, by the way. But I guess we're good. We're getting off the stream, I guess. Some really good conversations. What about a psychopath? A personality trait. Man, I remember there was this. I have a lot of stories. The one chick showing up at the house all the time. She would like show up and like be outside my window. I'll be like sleeping and I'll wake up and then I'll see like her silhouette. It was kind of like freaky. Like I can look back and laugh at it, but some of it was kind of like, like holy shit. I wonder how much of the population is on medication in America, right? How many Americans are medicated for? Here's something that's comforting for you guys. According to NRP.org, federal survey finds 119 million Americans use prescription drugs. Nearly half of all Americans over the age of 12 take prescription pain relievers, tranquilizers, sedatives, or stimulants. Everybody's taking something. I've gone to therapy before, like psychologists. Some are kind of useful, some are useless, in my opinion, or maybe just not the fit for everybody. Maybe useless is a strong word. Not the fit for everybody. Dorsey, thank you for coming. I appreciate your super chat earlier. Thank you guys for joining the live stream. I think we're at the end. Just thinking of the insanity, man. I wonder what these people feel like after you kill your family. Are you just numb? This guy, Ashton, went and shot this woman 10 times. Jarmarl, he shot the woman and then burned the house. And then Cory shot the woman and the son in a house full of kids. I used to call these people all sorts of names. I have so many names for the people I used to call them, but I think I learned there's no benefit really of calling these people certain names. Also, it's a sure way to get demonetized once you start calling people's names, descriptive names and stuff like that. So and the 50% Geraldina said, and the other 50% of the American population is smoking reefer or some sort of illicit drug or alcohol. That's true. Oh man, there was these crazy stories. I thought about covering this. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick before we end off. We're just kind of on the little late in the chat real quick. There's this guy. Oh yeah, here's the video. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. There was this one story out of Dania Beach, Florida. This guy from Georgia comes to Florida, Dania, my area, there's like a casino over there. Let me pull up the article before. But she drugged him and took him for like $9,000. I mean, at least he's alive to tell the story, I guess, you know. A man visiting from Georgia. Let's see here. Yeah, a man visiting from Georgia ran into some tough luck in South Florida casino, saying a woman he took back to his hotel room drugged him and robbed him of $9,000 in cash. Can imagine carrying that much money on me, like cash. Spivvy, thank you. Appreciate your support. Thank you, Aiken Mel, for content always supporting 100. Thank you so much. The encounter happened September 11th, according to Broward Sheriff's Office, which released surveillance video and photos in hopes of identifying the flirty bandit. The victim told the investigators that he was enjoying a night of drinking and gambling, so he was probably already tipsy and more susceptible to this woman. She drove them to the Dania Beach Hotel. There, he says she encouraged him to drink up. Hey, drink this drink. Drink up, baby. Gonna have a good time. Oh, don't worry. I'll make a drink for you. He woke up the next morning noticing a white substance in his glass and the woman gone with his cash. Damn.
And a man visiting from Georgia says he was drugged and robbed by a woman he met at a casino. Deputies say that woman drove him back to his hotel on North Federal Highway in Dania Beach last month. He fell
Look, he got all the money in his hand, too. Oh, she knew this guy was an easy picking. You have all that money in your hand just walking around? Oh.
Visiting from Georgia says
She saw this guy and he's like, oh, he's a lick. Right? He probably tipsy, walking around with cash in his hand, coming out of his pockets, $9,000.
he was drugged and robbed by a woman he met at a casino. Deputies say
Walking a little wobbly,
that
too.
woman drove him back to
Oh,
his
man, she had him. At least she's wearing a mask. Jen, thank you for calling tonight. I appreciate your call. She said, thank everyone that shared their experiences. Domestic violence is never an easy situation, and it takes strength to make it past it. Love you all.
his hotel on North Federal Highway in Dania Beach.
All that money out, man. Hell no. Anybody sees that in South Florida at nighttime, late night, man walking around all this cash in his hand. Easy pickings.
Last month, he fell asleep and then woke
She's just looking at him too. She's not even looking at his face, nothing. She's just staring down at the cash in his hands.
up the next morning, and that's when he found some white stuff in his glass and
Pulled the Cardi B.
$9,000 gone. If you recognize the woman in that video, you're urged to call police. And a man visiting from Georgia.
Just be glad you're alive, man. Somebody commented, well, at least she was considerate enough to wear a mask. Alcohol proving to be stupid again. Cardi B at it again. Oh my God. Dude is partying and picking up strangers in the middle of a pandemic. I feel sorry for him. Hey, she's looking out for herself, man. Got a mask on and everything. There was another story too. Some woman robbing some other guy. Let's see. Here they are. Before we end off. I don't think there's a video to this, but they're both mothers, by the way. They're totally taking life into their own hands. Two mothers, 25 and 32, who drugged 10 men in Chicago nightclubs before robbing them of credit cards, jewelry, phones worth $85,000 are finally caught. Tiana Trammell and Tawana Rainey, 25 and 32. The pair are accused of giving clubgoers laced drinks. I didn't even know that was a thing. Men taking drinks from women? I thought it was the other way around. Men offer the women drinks, and then the women are supposed to be cautious or whatever. Damn. Woman out there offering drinks for men. 2020. Prosecutors say they stole credit cards, jewelry, and other valuables. Both women are mothers. They were arrested Sunday carrying an unconscious man to their car. Holy crap. Wow. Investigators say the woman, both mothers, so, drug the guys, rob them, then you go back home to the kids, would lead men away from nightclubs in central Chicago before offering them a drink from a small glass bottle, at which point they would black out. Hey, man, you got to be careful out there. Some victims say they woke up in their homes. Others were dumped by the side of the road. One claimed to have woken up at a rest stop on I-94, 40 miles away from where he last remembers being. That's crazy. Wow. No. Well, that's that. I guess we'll call it a night, man. I'm going to get some rest. But thank you, everybody that called and came through. And thank you for all the super chats. I didn't know that was a thing. That must be a new thing. I don't think I've ever had somebody, like at a club, woman walking up to me, hey, daddy, you want a drink? I would be so suspicious. Like, huh? Like, what? Equal rights. I never get drinks from women. I offer them. That is strange to see. Yeah, maybe it's a new thing, man. I don't know. Maybe it's what the kids are into these days. I don't know, man. Hey, bro, any updates with the story we discussed about the little girl getting shot in SC? No. I need to do a smaller video for that. There was actually somebody else supposed to call on that. So maybe I'll call them tomorrow. I was supposed to talk to somebody about that story on the phone. Yeah, hit like if you guys can before we get out of here. Spivvy. Thanks for coming, Spivvy. I appreciate you. Dre, Latina, Betty, Cleandra. All right, take care of yourselves, man. Peace.